Okay, welcome to episode 3 of this Let's Play series of Shadow Empire. My name is DasTactic. We're playing on a sort of like a very hot, not a jungly world, but it's got a lot of rain. It's a very, very wet world. And so this is actually the layout. There's some big lakes or sort of seas in around us. We're sort of up and through here. Jupiter is our capital. And we're just moving our way down. We've hit a major player in through here who is fairly friendly. And so we're just promoting the friendship while we build up. They're going to be able to build up very quickly as well. We've actually been able to isolate Picard, which is one of the other little towns on the edge of where everything actually is, and so we're going to be taking that one hopefully in this episode. And Morabahn is another one over through here. These are religious fanatics back over this other side, and so these are going to be a bit more difficult to take on. They did actually have a unit back out through here which we've isolated. Not that it matters that much, but they're going to try to break out, and that could be a problem for us. So we have to sort of be ready to act if that's the case. Other things to talk about, I think that's pretty much it, really. I mean, we've got this is just non-aligned forces down through here. So it looks like there's a bit of a gap between where Mabario Pax, which is a Republican group, these are friendly with us at strength 40 at this stage. Morabahn is religious fanatics. They hate us. We've got war going on with them. Picard is religious. These are also religious fanatics. There we go. And it's 23 unclear. We haven't declared war yet, but we're very, very close to wiping them out in one go. Let's just ditch that one. Have a quick look. This is Picard back down in here. So these are actually on a grassy plain. We had this one before. Their entrenchment is going to be very, very weak. So it's going to be very easy to break through them. Back in through here, it's a bit more. Is it more difficult? No, there's grassy plains as well. So ultimately, we're going to be able to do a lot of damage in through that other side if we wanted to. So we have the forces in through here are still they've just moved in. I'm going to have to build them up for a couple of turns before we then start to do anything with them. We could do a few other little things right now. I'm tempted to do it. We've got reasonable industrial points. We have got good metals at this point in time as well. We are building at this point in time as well inside our capital, just to go through the assets. We are building a solar panel for 2 more turns, but we've got enough to cater for that one. What we could do is just get a single armoured car unit to help keep this thing isolated. So I might just go and do that one now. We should be able to build one of them there. Let's just go and raise the formation. This is not going to be with an operational headquarters. We don't want to have that. Actually, I didn't read this before, but anyway, that's got the operational HQ, means that it comes with a group of units. Independent just means it's its own lone unit, but you've got more that you can actually then go and do. Actually, we don't have everything we wanted. Why is that? Why is that? If we just go back and go to the buggies, we can get 36%. If I go and click on it, so we can see what's actually wrong with this. Now, actually, it's cost me a fair bit of industrial points. So the items, we have only 85% of the items required, and the logistics, we actually don't have enough logistics points to be able to do what we need to do here. So it's oh, hang on, sorry, I've got this one wrong. I've done this completely wrong. Just go back. So this is going to be independent, not a regiment. I wish the default, to be honest, was battalion. You hardly ever go straight to regiment. That should be the default size. And we can now see that this is now available to us. So regiment in through this other side, independent. We just go back across, and there we go, 100% for this one in through here. So I was thinking, wow, like it's I don't need 1,000 of them, 1,000 logistics, and we also then have enough. And I thought the industrial cost was fairly high as well. 150 is fine for these armoured cars. And when we looked at the model designs, these were actually very, very good design. So these will give us recon, but they'll also give us attack values against infantry. So let's just go and raise the formation. I won't get more than one at this stage. I just want to make sure that if this thing does break out, I want to be able to contain it. And so I'll do that with armoured cars. It would be handy to have an armoured car over here just to get the recon. Like the recon is 103, which is okay, but we're not going to get it any higher than that. So it would be nice if we could get just a little bit higher. Armoured cars would help with that. So we've done all our decisions. Everything else is underway. Let's just end our turn. We'll see if these start to try to break through. They're going to try to cut that road off. Increase sales tax, we don't need to do that one. Just dismiss this one. Okay. 3 decisions. Now, we should have an organisation decision to bring a new organisation in. So, yeah, we do actually at this point in time. And the one I want to bring in at this point is the Military Research Council, even though I don't have anyone great to look after that one, but that's the next one that we need. So I've got enough resources, so I don't need to look for them with the Economic Council. The military research would be the one that we want. National budget allocations. Now, I'm going to go and set this one up a bit differently. So I'm going to stop that one at 25. I'm going to reduce this one down to say 40, maybe 30. Maybe I'll do it this way. This is going to be a big drain on that one. Maybe we'll bring this one down as well, just down to just bring them up so that this one's 40 as well. This is important at this stage. This is not all that important. So the military researchers needs to do a lot. So we'll just go and confirm that. So that actually did annoy a few of those. Demand that the number of hexes on which we have recon reaches 354. I'm just going to always say yes to these sorts of things. They keep on asking if you don't do it, so we'll accept that demand. We have to try to do it, but we'll see how we go. So we do have the Military Research Council now coming in. This thing's trying to break through now to stop us from getting... It's trying to break the road to isolate the troops that we actually have down in this other location. So I'm going to move this one across into there. I'm going to move that one across into there, and then this one across just into there, and just sort of keep them so that they're fairly isolated. Now, our recon through here is 53. We're sort of seeing things a fair bit, but we'll just sort of leave that one where that is. These have come out a little bit. We just need to keep on pushing forward. Really, we just want to stop these guys from getting through. There we go. We've now isolated this so that the major can't get back into this particular location. Everything else I'm pretty happy with. I'm just going to keep that one through there. Now that's interesting. What's in there? That's non-aligned forces. They've actually broken the back in here, which I don't really want to have them creeping up that way either. Let's just move up here. There's something else down this other side. Yeah, the major has now gone up this other side. I'm just hoping we don't have to worry about that one so much. In terms of what we've got happening in through this other side, we've got the readiness is 70. I probably wanted to keep that one there for a little bit longer. There's another one of these which has got more artillery to come as well. Let's just go and strategically move this one. This has only got a weight of 234. We'll move that one down to that location as well. That's good. So we're going to have even more artillery to then go in on this particular location. And then we should be able to do fairly well there. Just go back to our movement. Getting another armoured car would be very, very handy. I can say, at this point. Yeah, I should be able to just afford it, I think. The assets, it's a bit confusing the way it works. We've got one turn left. Need 135, and we've got 268. So yeah, we can actually afford another armoured car. I'm going to bring another armoured car in over here. In fact, I could even bring it in here. So we'll just raise the formation. Now, at the moment, we've got a recon of 104. If we just go and raise formation, independent battalion of buggies. And technically, I could even bring a second one in as well. Oh no, look, I won't do it. I think I'll just leave it there. I need to have the logistics or the industrial points finish off my, because we're going to run out of power soonish. We're going down at a fair rate, and we need to get those solar panels, and it'll take one turn to build them and another turn to actually make use of them. Really don't want this one to break through there. I'm just going to keep them there. It's a bit open in here, unfortunately. All right, let's just check our strat cards and see what we've got. I can send spies into different locations if I have to. We've got nation, increased sales tax. Now we've already got this. Let's just see where the sales tax actually is. So if we just go back down into the treasury cash flow overview, sales tax is only 25%. I can take that one up to 50, playing in the hard mode, and no problem at all with that. The Income tax is 30. I can't really bring it any higher, otherwise it's going to impact the happiness of my population. So 30% is the most I can actually do through that side. So let's just go back in and just look at the overviews again. The Empire dashboard. We're loved, which is great. This is important. Credits are actually now going positive, which is awesome as well. Let's go back to our strat cards again, and we'll play this one here again. We've only got like 6. Anything less than a 6 we're going to have trouble with. Yep, so we rolled that one, no problem. So she's really coming good now. This is slowly, every time we do anything, her administration skills are getting higher and higher. If she was cap 3, it would be even better, but she's doing okay there. Now we're going to need to get somebody to be the new person in charge of the of our military research. Now the mercs usually are about cap 2. They don't usually be any higher. Civilians can be higher. Let's try this guy.
Affirmative.
So success, he's now come in, and having the Interior Council, they should give us better cards as well. So if we just go back and have another look at the management screen and just go to leaders, yeah, here we go. He's actually a cap 1. So he does come in with investigation and administration, but not good enough for what we need. Yeah, no, it's not what we want. So he'll be okay to maybe take over one of the locations when we do to actually finish them off. Simba was the cap 3 that we actually had. He probably will do. I'll probably put him in terms of military. He doesn't have any actual skills, but he'll pick them up, being a capability 3 person. So it just gives them better experience. He's going to have to learn on the way. It's unfortunately we really don't have very good leaders at all. I might just go back in and I'll see if we get another good person next turn. We don't need to make that decision till next turn. So let's go and do that instead. They're okay where they are. We just keep these where these are, nicely contained. They're just not going to do any more down that way. This one, the Recon, is now still 104, but next turn this one should start to then put more Recon onto that one, onto that hex. It's interesting through there actually to see what's going on. Yeah, we didn't actually get Busak. We did find some 4 machinery, that's okay. Civilization is now reach level 2. We only get fate packs on tech level increases on regular difficulty or greater. This is actually a bit funny actually, because we end up with so few fate packs or fate cards. I think that there should be like maybe a smaller number, but there should be something for getting to these milestones. I agree that it was too much before, but it's now too little. Like, it's just a balance issue. That'll probably change at some point. Leader was disappointed by your failure to keep your promise, so that's going to make one of our leaders, I think it was our, I forget which one it was actually, we'd be disappointed. So, yeah, it was dropped to 34. That's very, very low. That's our secretary. Get Recon on hexes. We'll dismiss that one for now. We have to sort of try to keep things going. Now, they've pushed back down into here a little bit. It looks like this is now open. We do actually have good Recon. We need 70 on that hex though. Let's go that way. Let's keep on pushing this one through. Just make life a bit more difficult for this other player. There's something else in there. Alright, now the Recon on here is now 159. This is actually pretty good. So I think what we'll do is we'll actually go and we'll go through the steps again as to what we're going to be doing in here. This is a bit more difficult because it's an actual city. But we do actually have good Recon on this particular hex. At 159, it's more than what we need. Only 43, because this is just grass. So the town has been built on grass. which doesn't give them, if I hover over the grassy plains, we can see there that the maximum entrenchment is only 75. And so when we look at the actual fanatics that are in there, we have like an entrenchment of 34, we've got 66, 55, so it's low entrenchment. Their readiness is actually also fairly low overall from what we can sort of see with what we can understand with this. Some of them are actually fairly high. So Recon is actually reasonable with what we actually have. Now, another thing we can do through here is we can actually go in and start attacking them with things like, for example, these armoured cars and get the Recon really high before we start to then fire at them with the... Actually, look at our ammunition. Our ammunition is terrible. I need to fix that one up. This is still going backwards, but next turn that will be okay. Let's just go to the workshop and just get heaps of ammunition. We need a lot of it. Just produce that ammunition. Now, the ammunition is another thing we're going to be needing to do with that one is to build an ammunition supply in through here. I might just do that one now, actually. Just go to industry. We've got an ammunition factory. Let's go and grab that one.
Copy that.
Start construction. We've got two decisions. One of them will be to appoint a new commander. Now, we have Yuri, who just did come in. Let's have a look at our strat cards again. Nation. I'm going to just guess and hope that we end up with a good leader coming from one of these juniors to see if we just get lucky, which I don't think we will, but we'll see how we go. Again, she's trying her best. I'm impressed with her, but not with these leaders. So Pandora, there's a cap 3. So Pandora Gravman is, yeah, there we go, high in agriculture, but this is now also then going across into things like inventor skills, technician, science. This isn't too bad. So I think I'll actually make use of her. Her intelligence isn't super high, but she does have a bit of a skill, and she is 17 years old. So let's just bring her across into that particular role. What's happening with her head? Something wrong there. We're seeing it's not fixing that one up properly. We'll just exit out. I don't know why we've got so many bald ones. Maybe that's a fashion that's going on. But anyway, let's go and move her into that role because she at least has some skills. So if we go to the decisions, we can then sort of see that she's got a rating of 12. Actually, yeah, Nuri was 12, but she'll learn faster. And so that's actually worth a lot more. So we'll point her. Okay, that's good. And the other one was 30. The 34 one was actually sitting in there as well. Military Research Council task. Let's talk a little bit about how these work. The way it works with your councils, if we just go back, I'll just leave this one here and go back to our reports. I don't know if I can show it in here. Yeah, so with the way it works is, and you can sort of see it through here, the Military Research Council is getting 40% of our bureaucratic points. So 75 bureaucratic points are coming back through. You can see that at the moment, of the 40%, it's been split 50-50 between discovering new tech and researching the tech that we discover. So, and you can see there that it should be split halfway into each of these. But when we don't have a research target, all of it gets put into discovery. Now, what that means is we don't actually need a lot in discovery if we're not doing any research, because everything will then go into discovery anyway. So the key to doing any of these researches, and this is sort of the way really around this, is not to have it split 50-50, but to have it split where you've only got a minimal amount in discovery and everything in research, basically, because it still means that everything will end up in discovery if you're not researching anything. So you only research the discoveries that you need, and you just don't worry about the others. So it means we're going to end up with a lot of discovery of different things we don't require. But when we do get things, for example, like combat armor or side skirts or improved sensors, we can then just flick straight to that and get them very, very quickly. So it sort of maximizes our way of then discovering and getting exactly what we want. So I hope that makes sense. So what we do in through here, because discovery will have anything, if we're not researching, will end up in here anyway, we can push this one down to say 5% and then 95% into research. It's still all going to go into discovery. So we'll just go and confirm that one.
Order received.
Now, what's going to happen here, just to explain how this will then go and work, is if we have a look at the management screen and go to techs. So at the moment, anything with MI is for the military. Commander. Now there's a few up in here that they still can discover. So when we discover something, it's going to turn yellow, and I think it turns yellow. And then once we actually get it, we then get a green bar running through it like these. So these have all been discovered and researched. These haven't been discovered yet, and they haven't had any research done on them. So we've got a fair few. The discovery could be anything from rocketry, guided RPGs, Gauss small arms, which I would love to get, radiation filters, which we don't need, side skirts for the tanks, combat armor, which would be awesome, gas-powered small arms, I'll probably bypass that one now, high-speed machine guns, which would be great as well. So there's a whole lot of them in here that we want to get. Ideally, I want to get combat armor and the Gauss small arms. That would be awesome to get both of those initially. Or even the high-speed machine gun would be pretty cool to actually get at this point in time. So they're the things that she's going to be trying to discover first. So let's just see what actually happens as we move through the game. I hope that makes sense, but you put it all into research and then just don't research. So even when we discover things, we don't automatically go and then start the research on those if we don't need them, because it then just keeps the discovery going at maximum. All right, let's go and get this war established. So we'll start the actual process now of causing some damage. Now, with these guys, if we have a bit of a look, our armoured car is, these Cooper Pluses have only got 5mm steel plating, which is very, very minimal. So the actual steel plating is quite weak. But you can see through here when they attack at 176 against soft targets, and they have a defense of 351 if they are attacked by soft targets. But it's essentially the attack value is going to be the important one for us as we sort of come into this particular one if we use these on attack. They've got good. This is actually the hit points versus infantry and versus non-infantry. So they only got 78 hit points versus infantry. They're not all that strong. They do actually fight against aircraft, low-flying aircraft, if required. But let's just go and exit out of that one. And so if we did go into this one, if I just right-clicked on that one, I'm going to invade, so I'm just going to go yes.
Order received.
And if we then go and click on that particular unit again and go to actually to go and hit it, you can see it's odds of 1 to 5. But will it survive? And what would then likely to happen? Actually, I don't want to have that one going in. I just want this one here going in. But if that was going to be the case, the survivability, because it's only got 5mm armor, it's not going to be all that great. And we can sort of see this a little bit if I just go back into with the Fanatics and have a quick look at what they've actually got. So they've got this is actually their hard attack, hard defense. They defend at 16, so we could still do it. They don't actually defend that well against us. So we've got a much better attack than their defense, but the weight of numbers that they're going to have is going to be very, very high. I might even just do a save scum and show you the difference between using this to actually as a poor attack, but to get our recon really, really high. I'll just do a save because I probably wouldn't do it based on the numbers, but let's just see what actually happens. All right, so we're going to go in with this group. We just go and click on them. We can see again that their attack is 176. The defense from the other guys are about 17. So we've got about a 10 to 1 attack defense sort of ratio with what's going to actually happen through here. And we'll do a bit of a deep dive into what actually does go on with this particular group. The trouble is, though, this 5mm steel plating. It gives them some protection, but not a hell of a lot. And that's going to be sort of equated back and through here. There's no extra bonuses with that, because of the thin steel plating. It will still help a little bit. So let's just go and exit this one, and then we'll just go in and do the attack. So actually, that's still going in with those. I'll just get rid of those. So the odds are 1 to 5, which is terrible, terrible odds. But what we want to see is this. We want to see this recon points go up as high as we can possibly get it, without losing too many of these. Now see how they bounced in. We did lose 1. That's not bad. And we got our recon up to 795. So we've got them way, way high. We can see everything now. Nothing is hidden. So for the cost of just 1 armoured car, we did a really good little recon with them, a recon in force essentially, but with hardly doing any actual damage. Now we can see a few different things with this. If we go back to the text in through this other side, we can see that overall their actual readiness did drop a little bit, and this is what we want to be targeting really, really heavily. We want to be sort of really damaging their readiness. The morale dropped hardly anything, but the main thing was we now can see everyone. So that's the big benefit. If we look at the detail of what actually happened with this, I'll explain how combat works just by having a quick look at this one here. You can see there's a lot of stuff going on this screen. We've only got 4 rounds of attacks that went in with that particular attack before everyone retreated. Now, in the first round, 2 of them started to retreat. In the second round, they were retreating. Everyone else started to retreat. The third round, they're all now retreating. In fact, these have now left and they can no longer be targeted because they've now left the battlefield. And in the fourth round, this one ended up being killed, but these all retreated. So we ended up losing 1 in the very, very last round. To see what actually happened with this as we go in. So in round 1, when we have a look at our independent recon battalion, and we can see that when they start, they're coming back in. Now they attack a fanatic and cause the fanatics to retreat. And so if we go and click on that one to see what actually happened in this attack. And so we can see there that the base attack was 176 versus a defense of 90. Now the 90 is essentially their because they'd be dug in. There's other things like we saw that their overall defense was only very, very small, but it's actually that's their hit points. Maybe I wasn't looking at the right unit. Anyway, that's I thought that was going to be a lot less, to be honest. And so after modifications, our modified attack is only 91.29 versus a defense of 200. So we've got a much lower attack rating against them. When we have a look at that one, so the attack, this is what actually happened through here. Now we've got a 176 in through there. We have an attack startup where there's for 2 turns we have to then move in towards the front line. And so we start with negative 38. If we're infantry, it's negative 50, I think it is. So any sort of wheeled or any sort of armor type unit will actually have negative 38. And so we lose 38% in through that one through there. Our readiness wasn't quite ready at this point, so we lose 30% because we didn't have that, so we're down to 77. The experience, we did have 4%, so it goes up very, very slightly. And then with the High Commander did give us a little bit of a boost, and that one just shows in here. So the Supreme Headquarters gave us a plus 21% attack into what was actually happening through there. So having a look at the detail again with that particular attack. And so we ended up with, after modifiers, 21.3, which is that one, sorry, 91.3. Then their defense, they started off at 90. Entrenchment took them up to 157. Extra entrenchment was another plus 1%. Experience plus 20% back in through there, so they're more experienced than us. The AI bonus, because we're playing on hard, they get a plus 10% in through there as well. And so they essentially get the 210 back in through there for their defensive score. And it just so happened that we actually scored enough, our random roll was enough to get a hit on them basically and force them to retreat. We then get attacked back by some other fanatics. So fanatics version 6. Actually, this is where we see it. So their attack of 16 versus a defense of 78. We saw that sort of happening. So after modifications, it's going to be up a little bit to 19.2, and we actually defend a little bit higher than this, and they missed because of this one. So they had experience of 20%, and that was it. So 19.2 firing back at us. We have readiness goes down, so we go to 66, but then experience goes up with plus 10%, and then the high command again is 83. So that's the defense. So they have to sort of roll their numbers sort of greater than our defense. So they miss with that one through there. We then counterattack those fanatics in through this other side, and we miss that one. We then is attacked by an unknown enemy. We don't know where that one came from, so we don't see the attack score, and we get pinned down at this point in time. So is then attacked by fanatics a second time. Again, it's only a 19 versus 66. That was a miss. So there's all these different attacks. So we counterattack those fanatics. We're attacked by these. We counterattack. We're getting a lot of misses in through here as well. But all of this is just, we're surviving because we can survive against those sorts of attacks that they were then doing. But the whole idea of doing that attack was to bring up the recon values. And I didn't want to lose all my forces, but it's unlikely having armoured cars going in against infantry for them to lose too much before they then retreat anyway. The next round, we then sort of see that everyone starts to retreat at this point in time. So, we're attacking. We'll find here that the startup is now only negative 25%. So we're actually now not, we've got less of a factor. If we go to round 3 and then have a look and see, so at this point we're now retreating. So these are no longer attacking, and we're just being attacked all the time by the others. So we don't get to see really what it was. If we could keep on attacking, we wouldn't have any more of those negative aspects like in here. That would actually then just be standard. Our readiness is sort of dropping fairly heavily at this point in time. We are being attacked so much by the different fanatics that are going in. So there's heaps of fanatics attacking back against each of us in through this other side. By the time we get to round 4, this particular one does end up getting shot. So the Cooper Plus in through this side, as it gets attacked, the more attacks that come in, the less effective its defense will be. It just so happens that some of these have got quite poor attacks as well. When we get the last one, so Fanatic 26 attacks us, actually even that one, it's just a lucky hit that it got the kill on us. But there's so many coming in that you expect that you're going to get 1 or 2 lucky hits out of that many shots. But their actual attack score was really low. Their retreating target, we're now retreating so far over the hill that they happen to just get one last lucky shot of the whole round to get the kill on our particular unit. So that's actually what happened. So that's a blow by blow. So we've got the stats at the start of the round for this particular one through here. We've got the stats at the end of the round was that it was should have been killed. Movement cost. Yeah, broken, false. It did retreat. It was orderly, out of action points essentially at that point in time. So it's we did get killed, but it's anyway. That's sort of where we are there. Stats at the end of the round there. It sort of just goes through the actual stuff for the end of the round for. I don't know if it's for each unit. Yeah, it must be for each unit there. So some of these have already retreated. They can't be attacked anymore. But that's sort of that's a bit of a blow by blow as to what happened with those armoured cars. So they came basically over the grassy plains. They're sort of attacking with their machine guns blazing. Heaps of fanatics sort of in the town, but not really dug in all that well because it's just on a grassy plain. The armoured cars, run rampant a little bit. Eventually, it's overwhelming what the fanatics that are there. They get to see where all the fanatics actually are. They're reporting all those back to HQ. They then start to retreat pretty quickly because they're overwhelmed, and at that point, there's one lucky last bullet from a fanatic that ends up blowing up one of the Cooper Pluses that we actually had. So that's actually what actually happened. That's a bit of a blow by blow as to what goes on. We see the graphic one, but the graphic is just really telling us what happened in that interplay of action. It's very detailed the way it does actually work. Right, so we've now got Recon up to 795, which means that there's nothing hidden there. So you can see as long as you have less than 400 Recon points, you're attacking, you'll not be able to ensure you spot all the enemy subformations. We now know everything because of that attack. And that's worth a lot to us. So when we actually go back in, I can even go back and attack again if I wanted to. I don't need to, because now with the Recon of 795, what we needed a minimum information of 403. Well, now if we go and have a look at these different units, we're now going to see a lot of info about where they are. This is now going to be accurate. So we're going to get very accurate information about where they sort of sit. So we've got a couple there. We've got a 92, a 72, and a 95 in terms of readiness. They're dug in very detailed in there through there, 67s, 54. So it's a bit different than what we saw there before. This is their experience back in through this other side, their morale. It'll just, like if they've got lowish morale, and 49 is sort of average, like ours will be around that level as well. So their morale is slightly lower. Now that we have the Recon so high, there's nowhere for them to hide. So now what we do is we either dramatically suppress them or destroy them with artillery. Now it's going to chomp through the ammo something chronic, but let's just go and do it anyway. So we'll just go across, and we're now going to press A to go and do an artillery strike. Now, all of these have got artillery in them. And so I'm going to go and add everything to this. So we're going to absolutely pummel them with the artillery that we actually have in around us. So we've brought all of our artillery into this particular fight. And so we'll now do the ranged attack against these 3 units where they haven't taken any damage yet at all. They've all got 10s, and we now have the our Recon points are maximum essentially for these particular, for what we need to do in through here. We can see we should have we've got a modified offensive firepower of 1,423. So this is an extremely strong attack. This may wipe them out. So we're wiping out more. And this would be impacting their ability to stand in where we are. Every hit that we get, you can see there the recon is really, really high. We didn't get all of them to retreat, and we didn't get as many kills as I thought we might. Now we've got 4 messages. Let's have a quick look and see what happened through here. So 2,900 population and 0 workers lost in combat. We did 606 of damage to the assets, 300 done to the farming dome, and 300 done to the transport hub. The important thing will be what impact we have on their readiness, because that's going to be what the next thing is too. That's really why we do these artillery attacks. Great to get the kills if we can get them, but in this case we're probably not going to work all that much. So you can see through here that the readiness of them dropped from 86 on average down to 44. So we now halved their fighting effectiveness, even though we didn't actually kill that many of them. This is actually really quite important. Their entrenchment also dropped from 62 on average down to 21. So we've destroyed where they're dug in. So they're really not going to be they're not going to be very good at fighting. Their morale is still actually up there. They are fanatics, so their morale doesn't drop all that much. But that was actually fairly good. We only got the 1 kill, but we did actually get a fair few that wanted to retreat. So not that they can retreat anywhere with that particular attack. They just basically are running rampant around. Just go back to the graphics again. Again, if we look at the detail, we had 10 rounds of attacks going in. The different howitzers would then go back in through attacking different fanatics each time. They don't actually have that same sort of startup problem that they actually had. So they've dug in quite well. So they're still at the same thing. We've got an attack versus a defensive score. So we really don't have to worry too much about what happened in through there. Let's just go back. And it's only the softening up. That's all we can expect. But we are going to be also damaging the actual assets in the building. In the city. So now with them softened up, we can now send in the infantry. Even though our infantry is terrible, we can still now go and do that one. So let's just now go and click on OK. And so now we have, none of these can actually have got any more action points, but these guys do. So let's now go back and press M and get our movement. And we now actually have them surrounded. So pretty much surrounded. We're now just going to go in. You can see we've got 1 to 1.1. And as long as we pick them all from the same group, we're going to see the concentric modifiers coming back in. So 10 plus 10%, plus 40%. So the overall, the cumulative modifiers in through here of the offensive firepower, we're now at 2.5. We're now at 6 to 1 with 80%. We've now got 150% concentric modifier using all of the same different types. If I throw this one into the mix, it still goes up a little bit, but really they're not going to be ready enough for that. I could do it if I wanted to, but let's not do it. 7 to 1, all I've got to do is get them to retreat. And because their readiness is now so damaged, we should be able to do this, even though these units are terrible in comparison to what these actually are. These are so much stronger than ours. We'll just do the attack.
Engaging enemy.
Yeah, this is good. We got them. Now that was a good outcome, and that was all because we went in with that first attack with the armoured cars. So losing the 1 armoured car was actually good for us in the end. We wiped out a lot of these. We've sort of got them to retreat. We don't have any other messages. In infantry attacks, they don't do any damage to infrastructure. All we wanted to do was get them out of the town. Our recon has now gone to maximum after this particular attack. We can see there, because of their modifiers, their readiness was down -43. We actually had the terrain modifiers. We had the concentric attack there. We had plus 12% from the Supreme Headquarters. Our actual operational commander didn't lend anything, but we didn't need it because we'd broken their back with the artillery. And again, because of the armoured cars going in and getting the recon so high. So I hope that makes sense. But this is sort of like, this is combined arms through a series of battles. So you don't do them all at once, you just do them bit by bit. And so this actually works in fairly well. In this case, page 2, we lost a couple in through here. So we lost a few units, but hardly anything really. This is actually pretty good for such a crappy group that we actually have. It was a very, very good attack. So the attacker won, and you can see through here we only lost 3 subunits. We had 9 subunits that ended up wanting to retreat, like these ones here with the blue mark. And yeah, we did amazing jobs in through this other side. So we'll just click on OK. And so they've now retreated. This is why we left this little gap, so that they wouldn't stand and fight. So they've now left this particular location. Let's just go and move these two in. Now we've now got Picard. Now Picard is, as we said before, if we look at the assets, these have got this little red bar. So the damage is 303 back and through there. So it's completely inoperable once it goes above 200 points. And there's a chance it will actually be destroyed because of this. Let's just leave it be for a little while. And this one here is actually needs to be up to 400 points before it would then be inoperable. So it will actually operate a little bit initially. Now we don't need to worry about these. These will all disappear. So what we're just going to do is just go and try to... this one, unfortunately, we can't quite break through here. Yeah, this will end up disappearing anyway. Okay, so that's all good with what we've done through there. So we've now taken that location. There's more down that way. I'll just leave them where they are. They're all okay over this other side. Just go back to our replacement troops. So we need a few more infantry. Let's just go and get the 3 that we just lost. It's hardly anything. That was awesome. And the buggy as well. Just go and grab another one of those. So they'll be now replaced and sent back to the front lines. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go and equalize now the... actually, no, what I will do is I'm going to leave this one here, because what I want to do is I now want to move back my artillery to go ready for the next attack. So we're just going to go into strategic move through this other side. And actually I can't do it because there's no more action points. So I can't actually move them. No, I can't move them because they've actually fired. So I can't actually send them back just yet. But I'll leave this with most of the action points going this way so we can actually get them back home next turn. It may not do that because of the ammunition that is required. Let's have a quick look in through this side. We'll just go and press M and have a quick look and see what we're building. Yeah, two construction there for the ammunition. Solar panels were just finished. We should start to get more of these now kicking in with the solar panels next turn. Let's just end our turn here. It's an awesome game when you sort of even just have a feel for what's going on in the combat. There's so much involved in it. Killed 300 infantry, that's good. We're sort of just we're just holding on at the back there. Yep, so we actually had is at 354, and we actually promised that we'd get to 354, so we've actually done that one. Conquest acquired a new zone, Picard, so we end up with a fate pack apparently. I didn't get to see that one. We discovered a new tech, so high-speed machine gun. I'm not desperately wanting this one here, so we'll leave that one where that is. This is mainly going to be for armoured cars, which would be okay. 74 metal has been secured. That's not really all that... Actually, here they are. Here's the fate points we just picked up. We can get the docile AI. Don't really need that one, to be honest. None of those we really need all that much. Dismiss that one. We've got units with low supply. Now, you'll see there that we've now got no logistics at all going anywhere. That's because we're now using up all of our ammunition to get them to the front line. This will happen for a turn or two. And you'll see that these are now coloured red in the corner. And if we just go back across and have a bit of a look, the food is struggling to get back in here. I'm going to just try to move these up and get them close to this location. There's Rusak. That's the place that we were trying to get hold of initially. Anyway, we sort of eventually got there, but not in enough time. I'm going to move these sort of up as well. The lack of food is a problem. I want to get them high up into our zones. There's something moving up there. I'm not seeing. There's something in there. So yeah, all the logistics is now struggling because of the ammunition. It shouldn't work that way actually. The food should get through before anything else. So there's heaps of ammunition. So we've still got another 1,000 in each of these locations. It's going to require a lot of ammunition coming back through. Now we're going to be. I'm not going to replenish the ammunition because I need to get the logistics. I need to get the food out there. So let's just keep that one going. To explain why that happens to a degree anyway, if we go to the Supreme Headquarters and have a look to see, this is actually what they sent. So all of these supplies come from this particular unit. So first of all, it goes and sends things out from the SHQ to the actual zone itself, and so all of that was essentially sort of allocated out. So 656 now that should only be its own zone. I don't think there was any. That should just be to the actual area, which wouldn't have cost any actual logistics. In fact, you can see there was only 10 logistics that was actually sort of spent. We only used 10 to deliver all the stuff we had to deliver in through there. To the units, we then actually had we had a request of 4,459, which is mainly going to be ammunition that was going to be going out there. But we only delivered 1,936 because we ran out of logistics. And that should have been food first, but it wasn't. And so we ended up we had allocated 960 for units, but we ended up using double that, because whatever we have left over from here, the 960 gets added to the next one in the line. And so the next one in the line was this one. Once you add those two together, you essentially end up with 1,920. And so it used up all of those points that were available to send units out, send them out to the units. If we had a higher number here, there'd be less being sent out through here, if that makes any sort of sense. Then we have the zone, so going back from the zones to the SHQ. They tried to use 480, but they only used 25. So it may be because most of it's coming in from close range. And then the replacements, there was a request to use 114 replacement points to get logistical points to get the replacements sent out, but none of them got out. So there was it says one got sent through. Maybe there it is. There was another one that did get actually allocated out to that side. So let's just keep them in here. If we keep them there for another turn, there's not enough ammunition at this point. That's okay. They'll eventually sort of get it all sorted out anyway. But that often happens when you have a big artillery strike like that. It really impacts the artillery, the ammunition that you then have with your units. This thing here has taken a lot of damage. It's got 53 recon. It's still got 900 fanatics. It says it's got only 8 readiness. Again, we could attack to try to get this one up if we wanted to. Yeah, the readiness is pretty good actually. Let's just see how we go. Let's just stop it from being able to retreat.
Let's go.
Yeah, this is good.
Operation.
Because we had it surrounded, it really couldn't do anything. That then cleans up that whole area. Let's go and move this one across. Yeah, we've got 48 recon. It's just not quite enough. There may be something else up in there. Right, so this will be our next target ultimately. But it's pretty amazing the way that the logistics actually does look after itself to a certain degree anyway. The food is a bit of a concern, the fact that we sort of lost the food. Let's just move these back up as well, just getting closer along that logistical chain. Move that one up as well. Just spread these up. Okay, 5 decisions, back in through here. Policy speech, so the goal is that the percentage of soldiers of our subjects reach at least 15%. I'm not really interested in that one. Goal is that our bureaucratic assets reach at least 3 levels, which we will easily do. We need to start to do that one.
Received.
So we'll get that one done. Now, the zone decisions are usually the bad ones, so we actually do have a thing where we need to appoint a governor. Now, we do actually have Yuri Parker, who was that Cap 1 but had good skills. And so I think we might just appoint him to this particular location. Now, Simba is really not doing all that well for us, unfortunately. Cap 3, but it's a bit of a problem at 36 happiness. I don't really want him in these sort of roles. He's likely to become a rebel. So we'll move Yuri across. And now it wants to upgrade this to a small town. If we keep it as a village, ultimately we're going to be able to suppress it faster. So I'm not going to allow this to happen for a village we've just taken over. So ask me later about that one. Now we have a food theft. Now Yuri, We can send in the troops. We've got like two stacks of troops there if we needed to. We can interrogate the thieves, but we can see there the difficulty is very, very difficult, an average of 147. And the most that we can really expect, or the average we can expect, is 26 plus 50. So it's really a long way less. That's, you know, it's going to be very, very almost impossible to get that one to do it. Or we can just do nothing and just let the unrest go up. But I think we'll send in the troops. And that succeeded. It just got fear, which suppresses the local population even more. And 200 thieves were actually killed in that one through there. So that worked out well. Now, the military research, this is actually where, again, if we have a look back at the reports and just quickly have a look down in through here. So we now have, like I showed you when it was 50-50, it's now 5% and 95%. So of the 75 bureaucratic points that are coming back in, the vast majority should now be in research, but we set the research to nothing, which means everything gets put back into discovery. So the discovery investment is currently at 0 BP, because I think we discovered the high-speed machine guns. So when I get something like this, I'm thinking, do I want to get the high-speed machine guns? Which I sort of do, but I really want other things more than this. So I'm going to go to no target. So research nothing, which means it just keeps on going back into discovery again. So we'll just go that way. That's a really important, I guess, way of maximising the game, of getting the most out of it. And this is actually working pretty well where we are down through here. So this turn, what have we got? Let's have a quick look and see the assets. So we now actually have the solar panels are doing 89. Now they should be only doing 50. This is actually where we get the benefit. So when we have a look at this one through here, we've got the base is 50. So when we actually start to do this one, we paid 1 worker point for upkeep. Blah blah blah. Then we've got a cloud modifier, which reduces it by 6%. We saw that before. There is actually a modifier that does kick in. I thought it was going to be more than that, to be honest. It goes between 1,000 and 3,000, so it was about 1,000 and something. So 6%. So the clouds are reducing its effectiveness only slightly. Modifiers and the tech formula give it a plus 56. So this is the so what we end up having through here is the actual the modifier for the watts per meter squared on the planet is actually high, so we get a 56% increase in through there. The governor isn't really doing, actually no, the governor also modified it with another 14%, which is good because of his relationship with us, and so we produced 89 energy, which is good because we're now sort of going to be now pushing forward a little bit with this one here. So that's a good start. To see what I meant by the planet modifier, if we just go back to the help file, planet statistics, and have a quick look down, we'll then sort of see that the solar panels modifier is 157%. 56% basically was the extra that we actually ended up getting there. So that sort of is working. There was a little bit extra, but then a bit taken off for the clouds. So that's sort of where we end up being, which, as I say, is very, very cool. I love how I've detailed the planet. The actual these calculations really are now for hex by hex basis, which it wasn't done like that before. Okay, well, looking at the time, we'll probably have to start to wind up. But that was a good episode. Like, we did a lot in through there. Still can't see what's in here. Don't know what this is. I think there are animals on this planet. If we have a quick look at the biosphere. Aquatic, no, there's not. So it's only aquatic animals, I think. So it's just going to be some sort of marauder group. It's just difficult to see it in there. Okay, well, look, let's end our turn anyway and just sort of see what happens with our logistics. We want to make sure that we get more food coming back into all these different units. Otherwise, we're going to start losing units. So we'll end our turn here. Okay, they're attacking our commander. Suffered no losses, that's okay. That's all right. Found an ancient storage in Picard, so 540 credits have been recovered. You don't really need the credits, to be honest. Like, we're sort of now middling along because we had the interior councils initially. Soldier morale is low, so we do need to actually fix that. We will actually fix that before we get going, I think. So when we have a look, we can still see that there's still some problems in here, but this is mainly going to be because of the lack of ammunition. The ammunition has now gone way down. These in through here, have a quick look and make sure that we're getting all the food that was requested. So they've now got all of their food, which is the important thing. So we just want to make sure that they can actually not starve. These here did get their food, but not the ammunition that they actually asked for. So the ammunition is now going to be a bit of a problem. I'm not going to rush to fix the ammunition problems. We now have more logistics now sort of back over this other side. I'm going to grab one of these, go strategic movement, and just move this one back home to the capital. And I don't think I can do that one. Yeah, no, I can't do that one there, so that's okay. Just go back to more movement. Now that we've got the food sorted out, let's just keep these sort of coming through. We'll keep a couple back in there for now. Would like to get hold of this if I could. So the red button there is just showing the actual supply problems. So we're not getting the ammunition that we need, but we've got a lot in reserve. So that's not going to really matter that much. Just move that one up. I might move these ones down actually as the to be the garrison for that. And we've got these that can now start to sort of move through the middle. Okay, that's all good. What do we have there? Oh, that's right, the artillery went there. That's fine. Then eventually we want to get the artillery down into here to then do the same thing to this location. And then we just go in with the greens at this point. So we'll just leave that one. We're fairly secure because of this major back through this other side. So we did get attacked. Let's have a quick look at the history. Next battle. So it was an attack with irregular tanks and militia bikers. So this was actually almost like a bit of a recon type group. But these were independent, so these are non-aligned forces. If you look at the report, we can sort of see there was only like 2 groups of tanks and 2 groups of militia bikers as well. Just went in, but we actually defended pretty well with our grunts. So that was all okay. Readiness went down a little bit, but let's just leave it where that is. So it came from this particular angle. We will close that one off. And now they were there. We don't know where they are. We've got 44 recon there, 44 recon there. It's not really ideal. I can move this one through, see what else we can spot. We now have 65 there. What have we got in there? We've got 59. That one is 49. That's not really good enough. Yes, 59 is probably not enough there. Yeah, 62 for that hex. So we'll just leave it where it is for now. And I think we'll move this one back across now to sort of start to work out, now that we've got enough to just mask this little area off. Okay, well, things are sort of working pretty well here. Let's actually move this one down towards where the action actually is actually going. And we do have 4 decisions to make. So we've got, again, zone decisions will always usually be pretty bad, but in this case we get our workers' salary up to say 6 in this location. Emergency food, I think I'm going to allow it at this location as well. It looks like it's only a really, really small town anyway. So we'll just go with that. Nothing else to really do. Just confirm the orders. And proposal to change to a class-based voting system. Everyone's in favour of that. Okay. We'll do it. Done. Demand that our bureaucratic assets reach at least 3 levels. We'll accept this demand. Now, we do want this to happen, actually. So there's a few things we need to now go and do. Now, we've got a senator extradition. So a former senator from Mabario Pax has been living in DasTactic Empire for years. He fled to us after his country abolished its senate. He was welcomed because he offered to share his great knowledge with us. However, Mabario Pax is requesting his extradition. If we don't cooperate, they will threaten to make life harder for our traders operating in their nation. So will we extradite? If we go yes, the relation will go up. Plus 10 there is actually a good one. That one is actually not too bad. If we say no, he'll go down to 50%, which I think this is the deciding factor. Let's just go that way. All right, well, I think I'm going to leave it there, guys. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next episode. So we're sort of now pushing back. We're doing fairly well now and through this other location. It'd be good to get our artillery across, and we'll do the same sort of deal here with armoured cars going in for the attack, as well as the artillery ultimately. So we've got a little bit to set up for that one, because our infantry is just so weak. It really is terrible. I'll catch you in the next episode. Anyway, have a good day.